All right, guys, this is Jason with the Primal Outdoors channel, and today I'm just kind of out in a spot so I can kind of set up all my gear and show you guys some new gear that I got this year, and also talk to you guys why I use a rooftop tent, or why I went the route of the rooftop tent versus, say, a traditional ground tent. And you know, a couple years ago, I made the decision to kind of switch over from more backpack style camping to more of the overland or car camping style of camping. And a lot of that had to do with because I started to have my dogs with me full time, and I didn't really want to, at their age, I didn't really want to have to kind of start teaching them about camping out, backpack style camping, and also having to kind of change my whole gear setup there to accommodate now having the dogs with me versus just being out there on my own. Also wanted to start exploring our state, because here in Oregon, you know, we have a ton of public land. In fact, 80% of the state is public land, and so there is so many places that a guy can go and be able to get out and away from a lot of people. And in fact, I almost find that car camping, the way I do, that I actually find myself way more secluded than I ever did backpacking up in some of the more popular wilderness areas. I mean, I could hike 5 miles into a lake and have tons of campers all around me, where I can go drive somewhere way out east in the BLM and there won't be anybody for miles out there from me. So I really enjoy that aspect, and I really enjoy exploring the state. And I've really enjoyed doing this type of camping. But as I've been doing it, like anything, I've been kind of going through a progression of gear, trying to figure out what's going to work best for me. And I like most people, I kind of started off with ground tents, and you know, some nice ground tents, nice canvas ground tents. The Kodiak canvas tent that I used for a while was a great tent, and I really enjoyed it. I even tried their little swag tent, which was really a handy little kind of, I'd say, more fair weather tent, but it was still a great little great tent, very easy to set up, which was one of my main concerns or wants out of my setup. Is I wanted it to be very quick, very easy to set up, and also very quick and easy for me to tear down, so that I could get out there and get to doing the stuff that I really wanted to do faster, instead of spending lots of time setting the camp up. Because like many of you, I work during the week and I'm very busy, and I don't really have a lot of time for, you know, to kind of pre-plan these trips. But I do try to get out for my, you know, kind of basically own mental health. I try to get out at least once a week, and I camp all year round. Now, for the most part, I will camp, you know, a couple times a year where I go out for more than one night, but that's only a couple times a year. Most of the year, I try to get out almost every weekend. At least three out of the 4 weeks of a month do I usually get out and camp. And it's probably only gonna be for a night, and I might not even have the full day and night. I may just leave, you know, late afternoon, drive out somewhere, get somewhere just before sunset, set up camp out over the evening, you know, enjoy a fire, maybe enjoy some Pendleton, hang out, get up in the morning, you know, hang out a little bit, maybe go shoot a landscape shot or something like that, and then have to pack up and be gone. So again, I don't always have a lot of time. Some weekends I get, you know, maybe I get to spend the whole weekend, but a lot of times you know, because of other obligations and things, I might only get one evening. So I don't want to spend that time setting up a camp. I want a camp that is very quick to set up, easy for me to find places for me to set the camp up, and then easy for me to tear the camp down. So back onto the ground tents, you know, one of the problems that I always had, the Kodiak canvas was a great tent, and it was very easy to set up for as big a tent as it was, but it required, again, you had to find a 10 by 10 spot on the ground, you know, that was level, free of rocks, free of roots, able to stake it down and put it up. Now, I don't know if you guys noticed in the time lapse, when I set all this up, the area that I'm in, it is a boulder field. There isn't 2 inches that you can look that there isn't a boulder. I mean, it was almost a real pain to even just drive back in here, not alone try to find a spot anywhere in here to set up any type of ground tent. And that is one of the reasons why I decided to eventually move over to the rooftop tent and go that route. And what really sold me on it was one year I went camping with my friend Casey from the Coyote Works channel, and we went out somewhere in the middle of winter, and there was snow on the ground, and we were in a wide open space, and I had my Kodiak canvas. He had a Mount Shasta CVT rooftop tent, and while I was still out trying to scrape the permafrost off the ground and the snow and make a 10 by 10 area, he already had his camp set up. He was done. I hadn't even pulled my tent out of the bag yet, you know, because I was still trying to scrape a spot off the ground to fit the tent. Now, if I'm gonna go out somewhere and I'm gonna be out there a week, I don't mind spending a little time setting up a camp, but if I only got one night, I just wanna get my camp set up and be done. So when I saw that he was done before I even got my tent out of the bag, I was like, okay, I really gotta look at getting one of those rooftop tents, because that is just so convenient. He didn't have to do anything in preparing the location. You know, it was already fairly level. He just drove over it. It didn't matter that there was snow or anything under his vehicle. All he had to do is just drive over and pop open his tent. It was very convenient. Now, the one thing that kind of held me back from, just jumping right out there and getting a rooftop tent was trying to figure out how I was going to get Daisy and Wheeler into the tent, get them up inside the tent. But then eventually, just through a course of time, I saw somebody who had these Thule exporter racks that I have on my truck, and saw that I could lower those racks and be able to get the tent at a level that I could comfortably lift my dogs and get them inside the tent. And I've been doing that for a year now with the Mount Shasta rooftop tent, and it's been working out fine, and I've had no problems with that. But this year, CVT did upgrade me, and I got to go to a Mount Rainier. And the main reason why I wanted to go to the Rainier over the Shasta was last year, while winter camping with my little Mr. Buddy heater, I just kind of felt like I could just use a little bit more space inside the tent. Like, I am 56 inches wide with the Shasta. The Rainier is 72 inches wide. That's going to give me just a little bit more space to put a little more buffer between the heater and me and the dogs, and I think that will make the whole situation not only a little safer, but a little bit more comfortable as well. But they also set me up with this awning, which is great, and I really like it. Today, it's a little bit warm, it's sunny, it's midday, but it's really nice because I've got this awning and I've got a nice piece of shade, and I can get out of the sun and be comfortable. And then of course, if it's a little bit inclement or the weather's kind of bad, rain or whatever, I've got a place I can get out and still I can have my little table here, I can cook or do whatever and not have to be out in the elements. So I'm really looking forward to this. And again, it was another piece that to me that is going to help simplify my camp. Before I used to kind of set up the rooftop tent, which was very good, but then I would set up another tarp that I kind of used to be outside of the weather, so I could have a place to cook and do things outside of the tent. But that again, it kind of still put me in that kind of position where I was like, okay, where am I going to set this thing up? Where can I kind of clear a spot? What can I hook where can I tie 2 ropes off to? Or where can I get poles, to set this tarp up? Or, kind of figuring things out. And with the awning being mounted to the vehicle, it's a no-brainer. Basically, I just, wherever the truck can be parked in a half-level position, it only takes a couple minutes, and I've got this awning out, and I've got a nice piece of cover. And I really think it's going to be great for me just for even, days where I'm just out and I just want to stop and maybe have a quick lunch or something. This thing takes no time to pop out. And in fact, I plan on doing a video here for you guys showing you exactly the steps to put the awning out and put the awning back in. And also I'll do a video on the tent as well, showing exactly how the tent opens, how the tent goes back away, packs back away, so you guys can see like all the details that are involved, so you can kind of help you make a decision whether or not these are pieces of gear that would be useful to you as well. But back onto the awning, like I said, because it is so quick for me to get out, I can often see myself at times that I might just pull off somewhere, pop the awning out, maybe have a break for an hour, have some lunch, you know, and just kind of relax and be able to get, if the weather's bad, be able to be out of the weather. But if the weather's also during the summertime, a lot of times it's just hot and sunny, it gives me a nice place to just have some shade and be out of the weather. But anyhow, I hope that kind of gives you guys some insight on why I went with the rooftop tent. Really, it just comes down to really convenient for the style of camping that I do, and for the fact that I do camp so often, and it comes down to time crunches a lot for me. You know, where I'll only really get to get out for one night. I want that night. It's very important to me, and I want to be able to do the things that I want to spend my time doing. And this allows me to do it, and it allows me to do it very conveniently. And it's now that I've used one for a year, I quite honestly, for the way I camp and what I do, I really couldn't imagine life without one. So anyhow, again, I hope you guys enjoyed this. I hope I really hope that you guys will enjoy the videos that I'll be posting over the winter of me going out and using this setup. It'll be really fun to, you know, like I said, I've used the rooftop tent for a while, but it's going to be really fun to be able to try out this awning and see how it works for me throughout the winter and into next summer. But we'll see you guys again outside. I really want to thank you for watching this video. Please take the time to like, comment, and share, as your interaction really motivates me to continue to produce this type of content. If you'd like to become a sponsor of the channel, click the Patreon link in the description to find out how.